Well, welcome into Headkrack After Hours. This is actually a first. We talk to a lot of people, a lot of people like, perform, rap, but this is a different type of performance. This is actually a skill set that someone is applying at a very interesting level. We got Bootz Tarot on the line right now. Good morning, yo.
Hi. How's everybody doing today? How you doing, Headkrack?
It's okay. So it's, weekend time. So that's good. We got that going for us. And, we're still in the beginning of a new year. We don't know what all's going to transpire, but, the slate ain't that dirty. So we'll take it.
I still believe that you're psychic too. I don't know if that's on the docket or not, but I think you have a bit of an intuition about yourself.
I do. And I never really knew how to really fine tune it. I
It's
don't know how
more
to
of a
control it.
feeling with you though. You get visuals in your dreams, but you feel things before they manifest. And as you're going through the present tense, it's almost like I've done this before, almost like a deja vu. But it's probably getting a lot more enhanced as you're getting older, and because you have a lot more to lose. You find that certain people who have, accomplishments such as yourself, we are a bit hyper aware because we are protective of the things that we've gained in this world. I think because of that, you are conscious as well and perceptive of the things that you're able to manifest too.
Absolutely. I'm a big believer in manifestation, and I know that you are as well. And you have such a very interesting story, Bootz. So I want to start to the beginning. I don't want to just dive in and be like, yo, tell me things about me. No, I want people to know about you and what has, created the person that sits before us. So, I was reading, in your bio that you're adopted. And in that, sometimes people use that as a crutch to why things didn't go right in their life. And then some people take life by the horns and run with it. And, and you ran with it.
It's interesting. You can perceive me as running with it, but of course, I deal with certain abandonment issues as any other person would. I just don't like to use my crutches as crutches, but use them as hurdles, show people how to jump them so that they can jump them in their own reality. But if you want me to bring it back all the way to the beginning, I was adopted at the age of 8 years old. Prior to that, it was very difficult for me to keep a foster family because of the paranormal experiences that would happen around me. I know you've seen TV shows where it talks about psychic kids, and you see certain people say, oh, I've been here before, and they recognize certain things. Well, I was that times 10. I would roll the ball into a room, it would roll back. Nobody was rolling the ball back. People was freaked out, sent me right back to the foster home and orphanage that I was raised in, as you could say, in my early development. Good thing is, I got adopted by my mother, who's also a spiritualist as well. And she adopted me fully at the age of 8 years old, and she dreamt of me. So it took her 8 years. Of course, she had to tailor some of her stuff before she was unable to get me. And then after 8 years old, I spent a year on the mountain in Polk County, North Carolina, and learned some tricks of the trade when it comes to spirituality. I'll break it down very simply by saying this. There's a fine line between crazy and genius. Right?
Very fine line.
Let's just say upon my adoption, they said I was crazy. When I got off that mountain, as you can see, I'm a genius. Okay. From that point, I suppressed most of my spirituality. It was very private to me. No one knew I read tarot or that I had skills of divination or felt things before they manifest. I was a regular kid, just, coming out of the closet. We went through that experience, and then college hit. And when college hit, I was like, okay, I have nothing to lose, child. Might as well just embrace who I am fully. And I began to intermix with my gender, especially when it comes to apparel. I guess you can say, to be honest, I didn't really start embracing the psychic side of me until I was in LA trying to get a damn job. To be honest, I was going after a radio show position at Power 106 at the time, and they needed something for me to stick. Like they said, you have a good personality, you're personable, people like you, but we need something. I said, well, I'm psychic as hell. Told them that. Then I floored the room at that point. And I guess you can say that's when I started broadcasting my spiritual abilities and what I've been capable of.
Was that with my man Cruz? Was that with my man Cruz on the Cruz show?
Yeah, it was Jay Cruz.
Shout out to Jay Cruz, man. Solid brother, man.
I love it. He's with iHeart now, but Cruz is lit. He's the one who named me the hip hop oracle, if you will.
You know what? And you need to take that all the way to the bank and run with it, because there ain't too many hip hop oracles running around.
I trademarked that shit right. He said it for you.
So you smart. So I want to rewind back because you said a lot of very poignant things, in your setup. So being aware that there were paranormal things happening within your life, because I'm one of those people who believe firmly that even the smallest children, babies, they can see things that we can't see.
Oh,
they'll have conversations with people that, you know, our eyes are just too corrupted to pick up on the frequencies of them being there. Was you able to wrap your brain around what was happening when you were that young?
Okay, so my understanding came after I got off the mountain, so to speak. Okay, so you got to keep in mind, nobody was really guiding us. You think of Sunnyside Oaks and orphanages and foster care, it's a bunch of us living in bunk beds, and there's no real guidance here. So I had to learn that I was different. I thought everybody perceived things in the way that I saw them, and I was completely confused as to why I couldn't keep a family. I thought I was a cute kid, you know, like I had something going on. So I had to learn that, no, you're unique in this regard, rather than everybody being able to perceive things in the way that you were perceiving them, if that makes sense. And so to answer your question, I had to learn I was different. I thought everybody was this avant-garde, if you will.
Right. And then you realize that no, not everybody, you know, gets their radio set to that frequency to where they're in tune with the things that
I like how you say radio set to that frequency. That's
because
beautiful.
That's what life is. Everything's frequencies. Like, you know, even when you put a bunch of creative people in a room, the ideas just start flying because everybody is tuned in on the same frequency. So with all those people together, the signal's stronger. So all of a sudden you got all these fly ideas coming out and everything just works. Whereas if you're working,
I told you your ass had some spirituality going on with you. I knew it. You in there, you tapped in.
You know, I try to be, you know, I don't, you know, spiritual, you know, my relationship with God is different than most. I don't go to church really. But you know
God, and God,
but I know God, and God knows me well, and He knows the content of my heart.
And believe it or not, as intergenderly mixed as I'm dressed and as homosexual as I am, He knows me too. And by unpopular demand, He will start to use people that you least expect to get you closer to Him. Believe it or not, believe that.
Well, let's talk about your gifts for a second, because there's a lot of people who occupy a certain headspace that, you know, psychics, tarot, that's the works of the devil.
Right.
And I've always been one who felt like, no, it's about how, you know, even in the Bible, there are examples in situations where God gave people gifts and would be mad at people for not utilizing their gifts. And, you know, and you're utilizing your gifts to help people. There are some people who don't have a conduit to get some of the answers that they may have, you know.
That boy used the word conduit. Who you been talking to?
I'm just saying, I'm observant. I pay attention to the small things.
Very intelligent.
So have you faced that a lot?
I'll break it down to you really quickly. And this is the, I guess, generic way, but I have a lot to say about this right quick.
Okay.
So religion is nothing more than a doorway to access the same energy, okay? This is a belief system that I have. This is why when you go into a Baptist church and they are catching the spirit, quote unquote, you really feel an energy. It's the same type of energy you feel if you go pray on the top of a mountain with a Chinese monk. It's an energy there, and on the other side of that doorway that they're using to access that energy is God, what has made us all, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, what man has done, especially during the slave trade and when we came and integrated into America, is they used this religion and they've used this energy to control people, whether it's their pockets, their philosophies, their belief systems. So therefore, the God behind that door is now tainted by man. White Jesus, quote unquote, or Gandhi, or Buddha, or the Confucius individuals you see wearing the head wraps and the things. These are nothing more than staples created by man to manipulate man's consciousness. Okay. Absolutely. What's happening now is people are seeking the God behind the door that has been jaded throughout our history, right? Now, people always want to say, okay, you're going to hell, all this religion, X, Y, and Z. This is your belief system. This is what governs your life. This is not what governs my life. So therefore, when I leave here, I'm going to perceive things differently. Perception and belief controls your reality and the way that you govern yourself accordingly in this plane. Now, there are certain things that we have no control over, such as COVID-19, such as the government, such as how currency works in this plane. But I guarantee you, if you were to tap into and believe yourself for wealth, you will be wealthy, regardless of if you are a Christian or a psychic X, Y, and Z. I'm sorry, I went on a high horse, but I've been going through it with these Christians here recently, so I had to let that out.
Please run it. Run it.
Also, intention is everything, okay? You can have the gifts of Jesus and use them for greed. Mm-hmm. Does that make you a child of God still? Ask yourself that if you are a Christian listening to this program right now, okay? Or you can have the skill of divination, which I have, and you can choose to volunteer your services so much and charge what you're worth, but you're so busy, you don't even have time to spend your money, okay? Which one is righteous? Which one is righteous? The judgment is brought down upon each individual's opinion and their own individualistic belief system.
Say that.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, I get, I've had these battles, off and on, throughout my radio career. Cause there's like, we've had, psychics, tarot card readers on the show before. And then like, there've been situations where some people I work with will completely leave the room. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just because like the way they were raised was that, these aren't good things, but this is like, people feel what they don't understand. And then a lot of times there is misinterpretation of the word. And then also too, as a person who sits back and observe, I've realized that, hey, there was a lot of times where, like in politics, they used to have like, people running for office go to a particular church. Why? Because people who are already being led by one person.
You're talking about the Church of Scientology.
Yo, there's no, not necessarily the Church of Scientology, but even that year where like, Bush and his administration was like praying very hard on the Baptist churches. And because you already have people who are being led, they're going to listen to whatever pastors say because they train.
They don't subscribe to it off the rip.
Yeah, so so they're gonna buy into whatever they kicking. So there's a lot of people who like will just follow the leader and don't ask questions to why they're being.
Well, that's because we're born insecure. We're born not knowing who we are. Most people in the world, and I guess the spiritual community would call this the veil of forgetfulness you enter into when you have physical form. We don't remember who we were before we got here, right? We don't remember that we were a part of something that created all of this by simply blinking his eye. If you really think about space and time, we are existing in nothing, right?
You can't even properly wrap your brain around what time is. You can't wrap your mind
around it. You ain't got to be high as hell to understand it. Okay? But if we remember where we are, then the judgments of each and everything or every category, the person wouldn't walk out the room. They would say, well, what God and what can I get out of what this tarot card reader is saying? What can I perceive from what this psychic is saying? Because just like you, we come from a source, again, being jaded by man and processed to control. Lord, we could talk all day.
Indeed. Now, Bootz, so, you said like, around like the time you was in college, you decided, you know what? I'm going to break my chains. I'm going to get free. This is who I am. Yes. How freeing was it for you?
I think it was more of I wanted my adoptive mother to know more than anybody that I was gay. It's the gay thing with me, And you might look at me right now as you can visually see me and say that, oh, are you transgender? I'm not. I'm an androgynous male, okay? By definition, you would consider it gender non-binary. And for a while, I was interested to know why I did feel comfortable adorning myself femininely. And I honestly feel like it's an homage to women because they are the nurturers and creators of our existence here. So I use my aesthetic as an homage. But to me, it was more of my mother, the one who adopted me, knowing that I was gay, because I didn't want to do anything that was going to take me back to Sunnyside Oaks from the orphanage, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when she found out at 16, I began to, of course, intermix with gender roles and things of that nature, kind of push it avant-garde-ly, I guess you could say. But when college hit, and I do have a master's from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, when that first freshman year hit, I put on that pair of 6-inch high heel shoes, and it was a wrap after that.
That is wild, man. So, when you were, younger in the orphanage, was it difficult making friends? Because, it was a different time then. It seems like there's a lot more understanding, a lot more acceptance than there, there is more of that now than there was back then, even 10
I'll
years.
Be honest with you and saying that my best friend, when I was in the orphanage, had passed away 50 years before. He was actually, I actually perceived him. His name was Jacob. And the orphanage was open for in the 60s and things of that nature. And I ended up perceiving this Caucasian individual wearing big ass glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my best friend until I was like 7 years old. Then I found out that he was a dead person. And I was like, okay, well, this is something completely different. I also had another friend by the name of Christina. We lost contact after she got adopted at the age of 6. And come to find out, she watches my show. And
Really?
I ended up relinking with her last year around the Christmas time period. So I linked with certain spirits, I guess you can say. Ultimately, I thought I was liked for the most part, but I was, of course, bullied for being a bit more paranormal than most people, you know. And I guess you could say the climax of that happened when I had that dream that place was gonna burn down, and the kitchen indeed caught on fire at 3 o'clock that morning. So after that, nobody really fucked with me like that. But again, when you perceive spirit the way I do, you ain't never really alone for real.
Wait, so you had a dream about the orphanage burning down. And yeah, that's not even the most interesting thing you said in the last 60 seconds, but I'm going to work backwards. So,
go ahead.
So you dreamed about the orphanage burning. So like within a 24-hour time span, then the fire happened?
Basically. So at 3 o'clock p.m. was supposed to be our nap, lunch, whatever the fuck you want to call it, time or whatever. And for some reason, I knew Miss Carol was going to burn that shit down. I started crying. And I said, this place is on fire. It is burning. It is going down. X, Y, and Z. They were like, oh, he having a moment. You know what I'm saying? Let's give him a tranquilizer, because around those time periods, early 90s, they authorized, you know, them to use certain drugs to calm kids down. You know what I'm saying? And they gave me a little tranquilizer, whatever. I went to sleep in the bunk beds. 3 o'clock that morning, sure enough, we was all outside watching that bitch burn.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And after that, that was like, everybody was like, okay, well, this is some other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hands up, moving back slowly.
I'm like, okay, well, like.
Okay,
you know.
well, rewind it back a little bit slower. So the girl that you said that, you know, watches your show now,
Christine,
she instantly know it was you?
So she did it. This is the thing. We ended up going to the same college. She only went for 2 years, and then she transferred to Appalachian State, North Carolina. I stayed at UNCG or whatever, right? And we had a biology class together, and we had a group assignment and everything. And for some reason, we was always like, I know you, but I don't know where I know you from. Like, you know, it was like this core thing. Again, that was before cell phones. You know, nowadays 3-year-olds have phones, child, you know. But, you know, that was before all of that. And here recently, she was on my schedule. And again, I'm booked from 9 to 5 every single day reading the girls. And it was a Christine booked on my schedule. I look at her. I say, I had a class with you. She said, no, we were adopted together. I said, oh my God, mind blown.
Mind blown.
And that was probably one of the best Christmas gifts I got this year, honestly.
Okay. Now, you said your best friend at the time had been born 50 years.
Damn, Jacob.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when did you realize that the person that you befriended wasn't necessarily, you know, here in the traditional sense? How long did it take you to realize that?
I believe, because there was an obituary shown to me before I got adopted. This had to be like towards late age 7. And, you know, there are old books of, you know, everybody who's been through X, Y, and Z. And they had like this obituary section of like, it's like the library, but it was like a corner. You know what I'm saying? And I said, I know him. Like it was a serendipitous type of situation. Nobody like told me, okay, this person was dead. It was more just like okay. More of a euphoric type of understanding that came through based upon some propaganda that I bear witness to. In the orphanage, that is, yes.
You know, it's crazy. As I say and talk to you and you tell me your stories, you know, I question now is if people that are psychic or psychic intuitive, or even, you know, people who have premonitions, are the minds of these people with these abilities just stretched a little bit thinner across space and time, more so than the average person? Because for you to be able to access a future event and also access the energy of somebody who existed years before your time, I mean, there has to be a way to connect those dots and like logically be able to say how this is possible.
So if you were to hook me up to a brain machine, you would probably see the troughs and valleys of my brain waves are a bit more dramatic than most average individuals, if you want to break it down scientifically.
Okay.
For myself, I guess because I've always operated in that space, I don't really know the normalized version of how that frequency would actually appear on a brain scan type of graph here.
Right.
And basically what you're breaking down is the science of the mind. And there's a book I want you to read, actually called The Science of the Mind by Ernest Holmes. And he breaks down the science of spirituality, how when you are clairvoyant, that you start to peak in a frequency, as you say, and it's about 900 hertz, if I'm not mistaken. And that's also an audible frequency too that we can't hear, but dogs can hear. We ascend our consciousness, or the way we perceive information, through our pineal gland, that being our third eye, at a higher frequency. Now, can you turn that on and off? I can. Okay. Now, some people can't. You know what I'm saying? Some people, you walk up in a room and your hair starts standing up, and the next thing you know, you're like, okay, I have to get out of here, and I don't know why. That's some psychics. And I guess the definition of the word psychic would be a person that can control and is conscious of them varying those frequencies. Does that make sense? This is me hypothesizing the science behind it, because I majored in communications.
and you're communicating the thoughts very well, I must say.
Okay. So that's, if you were to hook me up to a brain scan machine, you would see that the troughs and the valleys of the extremities of how I perceive information are more enhanced than the average individual when I am reading and activated. Makes sense. But 9 times out of 10, I'm like everybody else. I got my fireball right here. I want to drink it, bitch. I want to dub that shit down. How you doing?
Now, there's always been that debate if, things like alcohol, marijuana, hallucinogenic drugs, do these things sharpen or dull the skill set?
Okay, so here recently, and I've been very transparent about this experience. Here recently, I was vibrating very high. Okay, and I use the word vibrating. When you are under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, any drugs that get you outside of your normal state of perception, you are tapping into either a realm of consciousness, or your frequency is either slowed or enhanced based upon our scientific conversation prior. Right now, for me, libations. Normalize, typically, right? Now, I'm currently in an intimate relationship with someone, and I was vibrating real high that day, okay?
Okay.
And I do like to indulge in marijuana and alcohol. Those are my go-tos. During the quarantine process, Whitney Houston has a little thing. She says, I always love you. And I wanted to feel that love a little bit too. And I was vibrating a little bit too high. Let's just say that. And spiritually speaking, I ended up embodying someone who had passed away on my lover's side, to the point where he's recording a video of me answering questions about their high school encounters. Now, at that moment, I wasn't in control. So at that moment, I decided to, let's go check myself into a detox facility. Because again, I still have a physical body, and I still can be physically addicted to certain things. And since that time period, I was 40 days sober. Then New Year's happened. And now, of course, I'm enjoying my libations again, but very controlled. For myself, to answer your question, alcohol, normalized. Marijuana, vibrates higher. Everything else I'm not dealing with.
Got you. More so on the sativa side or indica side?
Indica for me. I like the body sensation.
Got you. Yeah. Some people have a hard time figuring out what thing it is that works for them.
Yeah, it's the indica. I like the body to feel. The mind is always high, child. Let's just be honest. Okay.
If anything, you strike me as the type of person, if more so than anything, they need to be calmed down as opposed to be picked up.
Exactly. But to go back to the initial statement of your thesis, marijuana, alcohol, drugs do not mix with people who are clairvoyant, especially in your adolescence. Okay. Again, the orphanage that I was a part of, there was some stuff going on, here, I'll give you a piece of candy if you take this over there. It was a package, and the candy was, of course, had something in there that will make me go back to that person to deliver another package. Makes sense. So I have preconceived notions to drugs and alcohol and things of that nature. Do I advise it? No. Am I straight edge? Hell to the now, bitch. I deal with people every motherfucking day. I'm gonna have to give me a drink of something at the end of it.
It takes a lot to entertain so many different energies. And just to keep it a buck in the truck, Bootz, before this interview, I had a massive headache. I was stressed out. Something about your energy, calming. Very calming. You. Bootz, you do every goddamn thing. Like radio. You done some acting. Seen you on I can't remember what court show it was. I don't know if it was what People's Court.
I had the damn death drop on that bitch for stealing my shit. Yep.
But I want to talk about your music for a second because it's such a diverse bag of music. Because I heard some songs where you're like singing, and then I gotta shout you out for Somewhere Over the Rainbow because
you got me fucked up thinking that
I thought you were gonna be singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow in the first bars. You got me fucked up. You think I'm gonna take one badass nigga in a bitch's outfit?
You know, I didn't expect to be this flattered. First of all, Headkrack, thank you for actually digging into my catalog. I appreciate that. But to go back to your first statement, and then I will dive into your music. It is definitely draining. Okay, I am booked all the time from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock p.m. I am reading girls on a one-on-one basis. 9 o'clock p.m. I then go live for the general public to be of service. You asked how you do this and how, I guess, like you said, you had a major headache, probably because I feel like you were pulled in a lot of different directions and you tried to focus on me, but we're going to get done. We need to get done regardless. We are generators of energy. This is why we have platforms, okay? When you recognize you're still human, it be days like today. I woke up and I called my manager. I said, bitch, I'm not feeling it. But when you get on that first call and that person says, you saved my life today, thank you for talking to me. I had nobody else to talk to.
Yep.
That generates that energy. That keeps me going. And regardless of the Givenchy or the expensive trenches and the gold and the diamonds that I wear, because but unpopular belief, just because you're spiritual don't mean you got to be broke and appear that way. Let's be clear. You know, but beyond that, knowing that you touching somebody every day, that's what keeps you going. That's what is the spark for me. You know what I'm saying?
I tell people all the time, that's the money. The impact is the money for me.
The impact is the money. I love that quote, by the way. And I'm going to use that on my next interview. I'll quote you, though.
I'll be on the lookout for it, yo.
Now, in terms of music, I am classically trained at piano. I have learned how to play piano from Miss Susan, who was the music person who would come every Sunday at the orphanage that we were at. Well, she was booked to play till 2. Chapel only lasted till 12, and I would be the only little kid just sitting there, just watching her play, mesmerized almost by how she used a tool to express herself audibly. She then began teaching me the classics, Furley's and, you know, Beethoven. And I ended up with my classical journey with playing C-sharp, Prelude and C-sharp minor by Rachmaninoff. And the reason she gave me that was because I had extremely long hands like I have right now. Now they're good for some other things, but we're not going to talk about those things here. With that being said, from there, I decided to do music. I've always loved music, but my version of music is a bit different. I've been doing music for 10 years with my cousin by the name of JoJo. He had a passion for producing music. He's an artist. He sings, he raps, he plays every instrument by ear, according to man. And we got together and we decided to just make music. We've made over 250 songs. Now with the most recent project, Pure, which is a reflection of kind of COVID-19 political things, and then the ascension moment that I had last year going into what I expect for my future. I guess you could say my music is cinematic hip hop. It always has a hip hop undertone to it, but it's more of a movie in your mind I want to create with sound, a journey to take you on. So I don't know if it'll ever be played on terrestrial radio, but for the people that find it intriguing, I also like to reflect the visuals that way too. And again, everything I pay for it, just because I have a passion for it.
Yo, like, I mean, it's moods. The music is moods. Yeah. Even the record you got with Tokyo Jets, it's a mood.
Blink Like Me, yeah.
Blink Like Me. Yo, in the comments to the Somewhere Under the Rainbow, somebody said, Bootz did 4 things. That, and that. I was like, and just even if people try to find you on IG, there's like 15 Bootz fan pages.
Yeah.
You know, did you ever think, you know, even, you know, when you think back when you was at your lowest of your low, because I know you had to, you know, break down for a minute and you're like, you didn't know. Did you ever think that, you know, you would impact people in the way that you're impacting them now?
Yes.
And you're just getting started.
Yes, every step of the way. I've always known this. I've had a vision of me walking up a staircase into a coliseum full of people ever since I can remember. It's always been a dream. And when Beyonce came out with her On the Run tour and you saw her walk up them stairs into that thing of people, that's the moment that I felt like was mine. And until I get to that point, then I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. And even after I get to that point, I won't stop doing what I'm doing either. That's not vain, though. And for a minute, I thought it was me, right? You always look at yourself like, I'm supposed to be here. But after I started my business 5 years ago, it's not me, it's everyone else. You know, I want to walk out there because the person that saw me start pulling tarot cards in my garage can say, I saw that. And if he can do that, then I can do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's less about me. When you take you out of it, then you can actually accomplish that moment. And I'm still, as you can see, trying to accomplish that moment for myself. Yes.
Hey, one step.
But I did know. I've always known.
Yo, it's getting there. So shout out to the music thing. Far as, you know, the acting thing, you know, COVID has created a very interesting situation where, like, you know, a lot of productions have came to a screeching halt.
Yes.
Then there's still some people still getting their audition on via the phone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you know, is there anything coming down the pipeline that people can check you out in?
You know, my manager's over here. She's waving her hands like, don't say that. There's some things. Let's just say I've been in production since last year with a big project. That let's just cross our fingers and hope it'll sell. That's all I'm gonna say.
Cool. Well, you know, it seems like people are rocking with you. Seems like you know, space and time is definitely on your side.
Nah,
you know,
man, I got Headkrack on my side, honey. Head and crack, we in business.
Yo, Bootz is wild. Yo, I love your energy, yo. So, you know, no pressure. And people maybe are probably asking these questions already, so you probably have the answers.
Sure.
As it relates to the cards, I wanted to do a little pop culture run, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I wanted to ask you about a couple people. Kim and Kanye West. A lot of people are saying, oh, they're about to get divorced. What the hell's going on with them? In any of the readings that you've done, what has the cards told you about them?
Okay, I have not read them per se. Let's be honest, okay? And I also am gonna just give a warning real quick. I don't advise anybody, don't read no celebrity unless you have authentic permission to do so, okay? I'm doing so because the celebrity realm has its demons, put it like that, okay? So out of respect, I'm gonna read this entertainingly for you, okay?
Gotcha.
But I do want to be respectful to whatever demons govern the Kardashians. And I am pulling Bootz Tarot as of right now as well. This is the tarot card deck that I've developed. They won't last past July in the public eye.
So you say in the public eye, they won't last past July. So
yeah,
what is that?
Because you know, with entertainment, you have what's seen by the public, and you also have what's really going on behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, I do believe that they're going to maintain a connection, but I do believe that the Kardashians are going to sever the ties in the general public with the West brand. I do see that happening, and it's happening in July of 2021. Now, prior to that, we're going to see a lot of meltdowns from Kanye. You're going to see Kim look good as hell.
I've already started seeing it. She started posting selfies again. She's,
you know what I'm saying?
It's already happening. She can't paint it.
Kanye is going to have a couple of moments. First one being around the 11th of February. Another one's going to be around the 27th of March, and then April. And then you're going to get quiet. And then all of a sudden, oh, divorce. But really behind the scenes, they are having a family that's outside of the public eye. That's what I think is going to go down with them.
Okay, well, very well then. Well, you know, being that you said don't read any other celebrities.
Oh, no, we can't. Keep going.
Okay, cool. Well, you know, Wyatt Fenlucci, he's in quite a bit of a pinch. Don't know if you know the story, but he was the driver and apparently a shooting situation where somebody was left for dead, and he appeared in Zoom court, and he looked a little disheveled. What do you see for him?
What's your question?
Will he get time? Will he be found guilty?
Yep.
Ooh. Damn. To which one? Yep and yep.
So wait 1 second. There are multiple things here. And then there's somebody that's after him. So I feel like somebody has there are two things happening here. With the murder thing that you're talking about, this is a conviction here, okay? Off the rib, okay? This is the head trust card upright. That is guilty, and you can't even hide it on your face, honey. Okay, this right here is someone who's after you. And they're a little bit upset. What's my face look like on that card?
You know, your eyes a little covered, but you look upset. There's a scowl going on, anger.
I think that he pissed off the wrong people, and I don't think he paid his dues properly. See, what you'll notice is in celebrity, oh God, I can't say too much, but I am, because somebody got to whistleblow this shit. There's a conspiracy that goes along the lines of, you know, you have to pay certain dues to have certain amount of money to have certain type of clout,
sacrifice of some sort.
Or they'll end up planting a whole bunch of guns in your car and you just randomly get pulled over on the highway for some reason, X, Y, and Z. Now, the only problem is he's guilty. He could have got it covered up, but he didn't pay his dues. So I feel like we're going to see him go down for multiple charges, yes.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, well, cool. Let's turn the gun on myself.
But let me pause.
Okay.
He can turn this around even as of right now. Just pay your dues.
So I wonder who those dudes would be. You know, he's had a long running street beef, you know, with you know, a couple people, you know, and this is not necessarily directly connected to that, but this is something else. It seems interesting times.
Hey, yo, dudes, nigga.
I want to ask you about my future in the business that I'm in currently.
I feel real estate. I don't know why. You over here talking about your business entertainment right now. You trying to buy houses or something?
Yeah, no. Yes, and no. Yeah, like
yes,
I do.
No.
I currently have some properties. Okay. I'm looking at a couple other ones.
Okay. And so the first thing that charms me is, and I'll get into the entertainment thing off the rip, but I saw dollar signs over here. There's a property. I don't know if you're going to flip it or what, but that's going to lead to a bag. That bag is going to lead to you starting the network that you wanted to start. I feel like it might be online, though. Like you're trying to give an outlet to people on the internet. And you might not be the head of it or the face of it, but you might be a secret investor into whatever this is. I don't know if it has form yet. So I don't know if it's just on the table as an idea as of yet. But this is something that you create and you're bringing people together to broadcast. I feel this is happening and it's been an idea for quite some time. Now, in terms of you as a personality, let's see what's going on here. Okay, there's a part of you that feels like you paid a lot of dues and ain't got your rewards back yet. 3 seasons away. The fall of 2021 is going to be extremely poignant for you in your career. You're going to be seen a lot more. Okay, the lust card is upright too. It makes me question what you still want, though, because I think the initial goal and where you are now is starting to change, and that's okay. But I think that when we're clear about that, it comes faster, it comes clearer, and it becomes a lot easier with a lot less gunk and a lot less people's opinions that you have to consider. You're very considerate too. Jezebel shows up in reverse, so you are an entertainer at heart. I think that mogulism is starting to occur with you, where you're getting these offers, but it's like, do I really want this shit? Like, what do I want at this time? Be patient with yourself. March is when you make up your mind. The third card pull here is the karmic card. You will start reaping benefits. This is a card of karma. Okay. So it looks like you put people on and gotten shitted on, child. We all have, especially if we have a light like we do. Okay. But all of that is coming back to you in March. Again, something with the property or investment happened in May, June. Then by the fall, October, September 2021, there's something you invest in that brings you a lot of money. And then from there, I think you build something to broadcast other people. That's what it feels like to me.
Bootz, the level of accuracy for us to only have met today. And, you know what I'm saying? And I know the game well enough to where I know when people can say some vague shit like, you're going to come into money soon. Yeah, motherfucking payday's Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Like the Cardi B tarot page that came up on New Year's Eve.
Like the what?
The Cardi B tarot page that came up on December the 26th and lasted for 5 days when she was promoting the show. Did you see that?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, no. Cardi B had a reading page where you DM her for a reading, and they were just generic fortunes. I really felt slightly disrespected by that too, because I bleed for this shit. And you wanna, and, you know, I don't know. We don't have to talk about that.
No. Let's talk about it, because there are some people who make a parlor trick out of the art of tarot card reading and even just, you know, psychic ability. I have books in my bathroom about how to read people's mind in clubs because, you know, there is a low level science to where you can get in the ballpark. But there's another thing that you can do when you're really connected and you truly got a gift,
and
the way you can be
what I'm capable of, right? So for people like me who have, I guess, created a business out of nothing, you know, and who wake up every day and read these girls and render my gift every day to the point my nose bleeds. I'm calling my manager like, bitch, I need help, and she don't know what the fuck to do. When you come on here and you're starting to broadcast yourself as a reader, it is definitely disrespectful. I felt slighted by it, but I also feel like it's not Cardi's doing. I feel like it's her management's doing. You know, again, when you're in the entertainment industry, it's like, okay, well, I'm showing up to do this. Okay, I'm showing up to do that. But I feel like you got to be real careful when you start to play with people's spirits. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's a real
thing.
You
know what I'm saying? And I say that to rappers, to artists, to actors, to anybody in the public eye right now. We need positive and ascending energy because we're not being fed that shit right now. So don't bullshit them with no bullshit ass reading. That's how I feel. Give them authenticity. Give them something that they can grow a tree from. Give them some fruit so they can bear fruit for somebody else. And if you're not gonna do that, then shut up. Stay in your lane.
Step out the way. Let the
And
real
I'm not
workers
telling Kanye
work.
to shut up. I love you, Kanye. I would love to work with you.
But you know, and you know what? From your mouth to the universe's ears and back to happening, you know? Bootz, you're a dope individual.
Thank you.
Can't wait to chop it up with you more in the future.
I would love that.
If people want to get a hold of you and even tap into your music, which is fun as hell. Like, yo, the first 2 bars, you know, like,
you got me fucked up thinking that you're gonna take shit. I'm a badass nigga and your bitch's outfit. I'm good idiot. Hey.
Oh, you said it with your whole chest, yo.
If you want to get in contact with me, I would say type in Bootz with the Z on Instagram and I come right up. But like you said, there are a lot of fan accounts now. Bootz Tarot is BOOTZTAROT on Instagram, and you can Google it and find everything. My website is spiritsquad.org, and I'm pretty sure you'll find something that will entertain you through that process. I am also live every single day, Monday through Friday at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I also have a private organization that you can join if you want a little bit more insight into these boots, darling.
That's what's up. Well, yo, continue using your gifts to help others. I see the glow on people's faces and your IG stories and whatnot. It's real, yo. It's real.
It's fancy.
Well, yo, Bootz, man, you know, in this 2021 day and age that we're in, I don't know what the proper exit greeting is, but my nigga.
My nigga. Cheers to you, bro.
We're dapping up, man. You have a good one and appreciate you pulling up on us, yo.
You as well. I can't wait to see you.
Likewise.
Later.